Welcome back. Drew is up there because he's foot's asleep, but he'll be down in a second. We are finally reviewing Spider-Man Brand New Day, the first live-action Spider-Man movie in half a decade, which is the exact length of Tom Holland's entire career as Spider-Man, was just as long as his absence. So, absolutely long-awaited.
Yeah.
And given how his first trilogy went, this one had a lot of changes to make, it just had to set a new vibe, a new tone, and present a very different world and style for that character. So, Trick, do you want to go first with your overall thoughts? We'll start non-spoiler, just brief thoughts, and then we'll just kind of break the movie down, go along the plot, and just kind of talk about everything there. So, yeah.
Yeah. I gave it a 9.25. I think it's a visual spectacle in the sense of like MCU wise, it's the best looking MCU movie since Guardians 2. Or at least the best looking MCU movie since Endgame. I think it is. It kind of just depends on what way you look at it, because obviously, like, I think arguably the most beautiful comic book movie of all time is Guardians 2, and that's not quite where this is. But there's some shot selection that's intentional in the way of intentionally making beautiful shots in the way that other Marvel movies don't really try to do that much. That is reminiscent of James Gunn's movies and his world building. But instead of world building here, what they did was they just used New York and made New York feel like a actual amazing, like how it's perceived in media throughout. I feel like all time. And as I was saying, I feel like this year there's been so much to come to New York in so many various ways that it feels like New York has become like rose back to its that like legendary status it has with like the championship and all the big changes that they've had. And then this movie just really puts it to screen super well. And Tom Holland is amazing. He's in this movie. He is incredible. He's amazing. He's also jacked. Tom Holland is a very large guy.
He's a looking dude.
He got in the gym for this role. It's really good. I think that everything that we wanted from this movie, we got from this movie. I think there's a few flaws with it that are pretty like noticeable and like pretty undeniable flaws. That's why a lot of people are giving it a 4.5 star instead of a 5 star, I feel. But overall, it really hits on what it's supposed to hit. And it does both be a good movie on its own and also contribute well to the MCU, because there's just so much to be excited about after this movie. So yeah, just definitely a worth watch in a world where I would say that Far From Home is not a worth watch, and No Way Home is only a worth watch one time.
Just once.
Which absolutely only see No Way Home one time, because you won't like it the second time as much.
Yeah.
Obviously. Brand New Day, I think, will be better on the second watch. Maybe not better, but just as good. Because it's made like a movie that has directors that care about filmmaking.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
And it definitely stands out.
Mm-hmm. It's very obvious.
Yeah, Drew, do you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah, I think more than anything, I was thinking about this literally as you were talking, but this movie feels a lot like you're looking at the MCU through Spider-Man rather than all of the past movies feel like you're looking at Spider-Man through the MCU. Of like, it feels like he is Spider-Man first and a part of the MCU second, and he interacts like his interactions with Yelena and whatever other points of contact with the MCU, they all happen through him first being Spider-Man. And he first and foremost feels like Spider-Man, which is a first. And it's accomplished so well. They execute that very, very well. And I think you get the most of him feeling like he's actually from New York. Like you feel that he's a New Yorker. He's from Queens. Yeah, I think they handle the B and C plots very well. I think they all tie in well. Um, Overall, it's just a solid movie. I said it was a 9 out of 9. There
What
are
are the
there are flaws with that movie, but we'll
True.
get into that later.
Yeah, so overall, this movie is kind of exactly what I thought it would be whenever I heard just the characters that were going to be in this movie, except because whenever you hear that, you get kind of scared because we like Cosmonaut Variety Hour. Shout out him because he listed all the stuff that was in it. He's like, and then whenever I heard that, I thought this movie was gonna suck. But it is the best possible way that they could have achieved having all of that stuff in the movie that was actually connected to each other, and it just was not rushed. And it definitely just he finally felt like Spider-Man. He felt so grown up. The first scenes of the movie, you just see how much mature he is, and then towards the end, he gets opportunities to be that like he not to spoil anything, but he just is very grown up and finally feels like Spider-Man compared to his other movies where he simply didn't feel like he was his own character.
Yeah.
And it's the best, like most actually like comic accurate, just Spider-Man vibes movie ever. Because up until this point, it was TASM too, because so many Spider-Man movies have had their own visual and just aesthetic. Like the Raimi trilogy is its own thing. The TASM one is like weird and dark, like a Batman movie for some reason. And then obviously the MCU trilogy just has no sauce. It doesn't have any personality, any style, any substance, anything. But this movie, and TASM too, but this one's an actually well written movie.
Yeah.
Is actually feels like Spider-Man. The colors are good. The swinging is great. That suit, of course. Tom Holland finally has a good, just normal looking Spider-Man suit, and it's probably better than the other ones. But we can do a suit ranking for next video. And yeah, I was just very pleased. I cried several times. The ending, like just whenever the credits were rolling, I was just like kind of bawling my eyes out and just being happy that I saw a Spider-Man movie after like 5 years. I think kids are gonna love this movie. Everyone is seeing this movie. It made more money last night than Endgame made on its opening night, which is
That is
just
wild.
insane, unexpected. Like Trip, you predicted 1.1 billion, and it's already at like
Mhm.
900.
Yeah.
It came out tonight. Yeah, I'm glad people are loving it, and yeah, I think that's also in terms of the MCU is a great opportunity to trust that people have seen this movie, and there's a lot of ways that they can branch off of this with certain characters in their next appearances that leave off where they were in this film, and people can be trusted to actually have seen this movie and like it used to be where people would just see them all and the next thing would make sense to a point. But yeah, definitely a lot of opens tons of doors for the future of the MCU, and it's just the most Spider-Man feeling movie. My only main flaw is that I can think is just simply like that's not like some writing nitpick. It is just the general fact of like there's still too much. Like they did manage it very well, as I said, they managed it the best way possible. But and I think for a comeback like this, I don't hate that they just did so much stuff. As like for the first movie in this new trilogy, I absolutely understand it as long as their goal is just for the next one to hone it in a little bit more and focus on the characters. I think it's fine to just get a vibe set for this one and absolutely like, lay out a lot of plot with the returning characters and where that could go forward. So yeah, I'm very pleased. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Might go down. But yeah, I just loved it, and like there's no way you could have a bad time with this movie at all. It is so fun,
It
and
is.
it is insanely emotional, way more emotional than I thought it was going to be because I thought I didn't care about certain characters, returning characters, but
Yeah.
yeah, and a great villain. So
You don't have to see the Punisher special to watch this.
you don't have to see
I hope you
anything
don't.
but the Tom Holland movies to watch this.
Yeah. I watched the Punisher special on my phone while eating Taco Bell in a Taco Bell parking lot. And I
so
wish I
sorry.
had my time back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another note is that Punisher was awesome. Punisher and Spider-Man are like one of the best
So
MCU
good.
duos. It was great.
Yeah,
It really feels like reading a comic. So many moments of that and just the whole vibe. Like
it was really cool.
it's just so immersive. The best swinging like ever,
by
probably.
far.
Like I would say
Low-key.
the TASM 2 swing scene is obviously the best, but like just overall in this movie, it had the best swing scenes.
Yeah.
Consistently. It was amazing. So yeah, those are our general thoughts. Do we want to start just breaking down the plot, just going in order?
Yeah.
Spoilers. All
Spoiler
right.
alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert, spoiler warning. Go watch the movie. You probably have already because this movie's making like $1 trillion and everyone's seeing it.
Mhm.
So yeah, this movie starts out with him just reading the note and just a compilation of him being Spider-Man, and it's just perfect. This was my favorite part of the movie, like I mentioned, was the first third. Just the swinging scene, him reading that note, him being sad, him watching the videos of MJ and Ned, like that's where I realized like he just feels so grown up, just smiling, like he's just his own person now, and it was just so sad, like amazing to watch.
Yeah.
I loved it, and that just the cinematography, the camera work in this is great. Like he's just upside down, and then it turns the camera, and then he like goes and falls off, and he literally just starts at Spider-Man PS4, like
Dude, literally
where
all
you
of
just
the like
swing around.
insomniac type scenes, it's
Mhm.
so good. Because low key, like
Dude,
Yuri Lowenthal's Spider-Man is a top 2 Spider-Man for me.
probably the best
Both in like
adaptation.
he's so good, and the games are so fun, and I feel like they capture the, I don't know, I guess the comic type nature of fighting with Spider-Man very well. So seeing that adapted to a screen, it was done so well. Like
Mhm.
the rooftop scene was like the first one we got, which is like the amount of rooftops you fight in an Insomniac Spider-Man is
Yeah.
insane. But just everything. So it felt like there were so many references, even though they don't technically have to be references to that, but it felt like they all were.
It's just because, like I said, like Spider-Man PS4 is just the pinnacle of what Spider-Man an adaptation would be like. And now Tom Holland's trilogy, or like Tom Holland's movie, is the movie version of that. Just peak, just amazing.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's
Amazing.
great. And it's just the swinging was just so immersive on a theater
Mhm.
screen, obviously. Like I mean,
Yeah, this movie is worth watching in theaters.
yeah,
For sure. I
totally.
didn't really think it would be as big as it was in that regard, but it was really good in that regard.
A lot
It really felt like I felt exhilarated watching him swinging into opening scenes.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, there were times where I was just sitting there and I felt like I was 5. Like it was
Dude, same.
amazing. I started crying like at random points, not specifically because of what was happening in the movie, but I just look and I saw Spider-Man and I saw him swinging around. I was just like, dude, it just made me so happy. So yeah, then he goes and he swings and starts because he gets an alert that there's a tank and it's just going through New York, and he swings and he has that funny interaction with Frank that we've all seen.
Yeah.
Great, of course. And this is where you discover that someone is mind controlling because they crash into, was it Department of Damage Control?
Yeah.
Yeah, looking for something called VMAX. And it starts hopping around from person to person into people's brains, but it can't get into Peter's brain.
Peter.
And he's able to like resist it because of his spider sense, and then you get the scene where it goes into his head and he gets like this memory of May that comes back consistently through the film. And that person gets away, they jump and they get into the Scorpion, and so the Scorpion escapes. This is what happens after that. And then and what is next, the Ned scene?
Yeah, I
just
think
about. So. Well, I mean, he goes and he talks to the head of damage control.
Oh,
and that's
right.
Like cool. Like I guess
you got a really sus guy that says that. Oh, this is where you find out he converted the hand to good.
Yeah, this is the worst part of the movie.
That makes no sense. It can't even.
It's completely.
You've seen Daredevil.
Uncultured.
If you know about that, they're coming back for Daredevil, Born Again season 3. That just makes no sense. That is nothing.
That makes me hope. That makes me not excited for them. I wasn't really that excited for them to come back in season 3 because it's also that's like the worst part of the entire Daredevil on-screen IP. Oh, that's the worst part of the entire Daredevil series run is the hands little bit like that whole season 2 where the Hand is the main villain. That is the worst part of Daredevil. So I already wasn't excited, but this whole thing they're trying to do with it just makes me even less excited.
Well, I think it'll be disconnected from the movie, which is another bad stain on the movie, and I think they'll be pretty cool going in season 3.
Well, they
Why-
have to make it consistent at least. They have to make it.
I would
like,
rather
make it
them do their
fun.
own thing and make it good than stay consistent with garbage in Spider-Man.
Yeah, but it's worse for them to break continuity just because.
But I would say that Spider-Man would just be that thing that breaks continuity, and Daredevil would just keep it consistent. It would make
Well,
more
no, because Daredevil was made after Spider-Man, so it would be the one breaking continuity. You can't break continuity.
Well, that's why it's
well,
you would retcon that part of
retro-
Spider-Man. That part of Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I just think that it's better for them to just write it out instead of just pretending like it didn't happen and say that breaks continuity. Like
Yeah.
that would be too lazy. But like you have to accept whenever your movie does something that's bad for the continuity, and you have to fix it in accordance with it.
So
And
my
it's
thing
kind of like obviously they're ignoring a lot of the stuff of the past 5 years, but that's a little bit different because those are all stuff that's from like projects that like entirely will be forgotten. But like this movie is going to be remembered, and people are going to be like, okay, well, why is the Hand like what happened with the Hand? Like, why is there no explanation? They have to explain how it goes from being in that position to being back to hopefully a villain.
These are the problems with them making that decision in the movie.
I don't understand why the Hand is even in this movie at all.
To give
realistically, the Hand's going to be a villain because they're going to work for Damage Control, and Damage Control is going to be a villain in Daredevil because they're going to be working with the authorities.
Why?
I don't think Damage Control.
Literally, why does
the Hand is its own thing? Like, there's just no just to have them there because they're from the books and more things in the movie, more cool looking stuff. Because that fight in the end is amazing.
It's awesome, but they don't have to be the Hand to have that fight scene. Like, bro.
True. They just wanted more stuff from the books, and I don't know. Like, it's just a bad decision, obviously. Yeah.
Just take out like the 2 lines where they say that they're the Hand, and Adobe Photoshop their uniforms black, and it's a better movie.
True. Anyway, so Spider-Man is like, of course, watching Ned and MJ all the time, but then he sees Ned at the deli store from Homecoming, and Ned is being Ned. He's buying beer, and then he says some stupid thing where he's like, "Hey, this guy, don't sell him that energy drink. You see him? Remember it. Now don't sell." Then he's like, actually sell him 1. No, 2. And no, okay, just sell him 3, but then never again. Oh man. And like face palms at him as his own cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, that's as bad as he gets.
Yeah, Ned's not that bad.
Yeah, that's the worst. They got the worst at the front. And then Peter's like, oh, and then he's like, gets all happy that his weird ass friend is being stupid. And so he follows him. And then he goes and he sees MJ at the party. And then Ezra Bridger from Star Wars comes in and makes out with her. So then Peter's like, all right, I'm going to kill myself. And so he's swinging. And that's very reminiscent of Spider-Man 2, where, Peter sees Mary Jane and John Jameson. And then he goes and swings around, and it's like sad. And he's like not actually, like healthy. And he's clearly like swinging out of depression and just trying to get back to his apartment. And this is when he starts mutating, because the mutation, correct me if I'm wrong, that was caused by just like depression, emotional trauma. Okay. So yeah, he yearned too hard, and then he just ate shit on the floor and starts dying. And is this where he wakes up in the chrysalis, the cocoon?
Yeah, he wakes up in his cocoon.
And that's where you get, oh wait, we forgot the part where he talked to Yelena about the mind control, because he went to be like, this is big potato stuff, ma'am. And
I think it's fun that we forgot that.
What?
And yeah, I don't. Yeah, no, I didn't like that scene. I thought that scene was really weird.
She's also kind of corny. Like thinking back to it, like that dialogue that she had where she's talking about the potato stuff. It's just kind of like
that is very Yelena dialogue.
I thought it was very.
That's very Yelena dialogue.
First. I didn't find a problem with that.
I just thought,
but something that's in character is still her weird, office rule about take off your clothes, but it's still just weird. Like, I did not like that. I thought that was very odd. I thought it was just an interesting thing to make some. Well, I guess he's not a kid, but I don't know. Whatever. Plus,
like
you were gonna get
23.
another. It felt like it was just to get him shirtless, but you're gonna get another scene of him shirtless. So what's the point? It just felt really odd. So, yeah, she just tells him basically that it's not a big deal, right? And does this kind
Yeah.
of implies this is actually like really good MCU stuff, just kind of like having it connected because he's not like a new Avenger, but he like still checks in with at least her, the new Avengers. We don't know if he even talks to the actual ones, I suppose. Yeah, so he goes to the party, then he starts mutating, and he's in the chrysalis, and he wakes up with he basically just falls in the alley, which also felt like very Spider-Man too. And he's getting organic webs, and he's like all grossed out by it. And this is like the best
Dude.
representation.
Yes, I loved him like working through the organic web stuff and like pushing, like forcing it out with his
Ugh.
finger, and like it was so good. I feel like it did a much better job than whenever Toby up and away web. He's trying to figure his stuff out. Like, I don't know. I highly enjoyed this scene because I feel like it made at least appears to make more sense and is funnier.
Yeah, and he puts the web shooters on his wrist, but then they like flick them off because they're so
It's like-
powerful. And then he goes on the roof and does, that Tobey Maguire reference, and he's got like all the stuff's hurting too much sensitivity. And then he like, there's like an alert, and this is what alert is this for? What does he go swing over to?
I believe that's when he
it's-
gets the Scorpion.
He goes to Scorpion, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because then he falls in. So Scorpion is robbing something, or Dio. He's messing stuff up, trying to with Dio with the Department of Damage Control, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he gets there and he's just asking about VMAX again, and this is where Peter realizes that it's actually Jean Grey. Whatever. Yeah, we're in the spoiler section. So it's actually Jean Grey that's taking control of Scorpion, and so he fights, but he's having this like, it's basically a symbiote story, honestly, because there's times where his eyes, that shot from the trailer where his eyes goes full black, that happens a lot. And so he like slams him down, and that fight is really sick because of the way that Scorpion's tail works. Is he presses him against the dumpster, and then he like pushes his arms, and that's like what like forces the tail.
It looks so cool.
Yeah,
it was really sick, and he was a great part. And I feel like I'm really happy for that actor because he obviously got sidelined after the homecoming end credit scene, and I was scared that he was just going to come back for one fight, but he's like actually important to the plot.
I love Michael Mando, bro. I love Michael Mando.
Yeah, he was really good Scorpion, and yeah, so it hopped to him again, and so then Peter, is this where he follows it, or no? This is where he freaked out too hard, so his friend in the police department, which felt a lot like the lady from Spider-Man PS4 as well.
Yeah.
But she tells him he needs to chill out because he accidentally hurt someone in the cop car. So he's freaking out, realizing he's mutating. And this is where he goes to Bruce Banner. And this is another thing. Bruce Banner's only in two scenes. Because that's the biggest part of this movie, the least street level aspect of this movie. And they handled it like they were just really light with it. It was perfect. Like they just gave him two scenes, just the Hulk scene and one talking with Bruce scene. And he's at the college and he's yapping, and you just get a good like meta awareness moment where because they're all just asking him Avengers questions, and someone's like, why didn't Thanos just make more resources? Because that's something that people have said. And the student in Mark Ruffalo,
you want to answer this one?
Yeah, it's like, do you want to answer this? And the kid painted his Hulk, just goes, Hulk smash. And that basically just communicating to the audience, like, don't logically try to pick apart stuff like that because it's stupid. And it's a fun movie because Hulk smash. And yeah, so that's pretty meta. I love that. Then Peter goes and asks some questions about mutations and what's going on. And like, what does he say? What does he figure out?
Well, he has a conversation. Well, he figures out that it is possible to make a universal inhibitor, but then he has like an ethical quandary uh with Bruce, where Bruce is like, "That's some dangerous tech, son," and then he makes it anyway.
Yes, this is another thing that people are talking about. Like, is probably the most impactful thing in this movie.
Yeah.
Is that Peter
Yeah.
made the mutant collar.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a really big issue for the X-Men films, because he just made a way for the government to, lock down those muties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he begins working on that inhibitor and he finishes it. Or what happens next? Help me out, guys.
The
party talks to MJ. It's where is it the scene where Jean Grey starts jumping person to person? How does that scene start? Is it he's just like walking, and then
I think he's walking and then he gets approached. Oh wait, no, because he goes back to his apartment or like his whatever, and then keeps working on it, and then he does a field test to where he falls back down in the same place he fell before, and then he walked out after his web bombs go off, and then he's like, "Are you okay, Spider-Man?" And then Spider-Man can't sense that it's actually Jean Grey. Then they have a whole conversation, and then they have like a race to find MJ, where Jean Grey is like jumping person to person to try to get to MJ as fast as she can while Peter has to swing.
Because she found Peter's apartment, found his identity, and so she found the letter finding his loved ones. So she's gonna go, go get MJ basically. But Peter realizes she can only jump by 33 feet, so he waits for her to get in a helicopter and webs it up.
Yeah.
Then goes back to his apartment, and then he realizes she's not there, so he has to go get MJ and get her involved.
Yeah. So he goes and he snags MJ, and this part sucks, like as in like a good way, because like he has a scene where he like goes in the window, and then there's a part of the letter that's where Peter is like, "I know you'll believe me because you can always tell when I'm lying." Mm-hmm. So that solidifies in this scene whenever he's like, "I promised you I would protect you," and she's just like, "Okay," and that belief that like hints to the audience that this is MJ. Mm-hmm. And then you have like a scene of them swinging to like a quote unquote safe spot, and then they have a whole conversation, and this is like Peter. This is Peter and MJ have a conversation about the fact that they must have known each other previously, and MJ like figures it all out, and then
she's like,
they have like a true love's kiss moment where they're like,
she does like, the Raimi thing where she takes part of his mask off, mm-hmm. and then they kiss,
and then
that's an amazing performance. Wait, and then Tom like starts crying, and he's like, "MJ, I missed you so much," and he's like crying in her arms, and he's just like letting all of his trauma, like 5 years of built up trauma, just fully letting it out.
And then Jean Grey drops the act and reveals that MJ was never there, and it was just MJ under mind control the whole time.
So she low-key essayed both of them.
Yeah.
Really messed up. And then she like, Peter gets really mad, and he's like, "You're a monster." Valid crash out. Mm-hmm. And MJ jumps off of the building, or Jean Grey jumps MJ off the building and then releases control. And unlike a certain somebody, which there's obviously parallels to in those shots, which is great. He saves her, of course. And she didn't remember anything, basically.
Yeah.
And so he just doesn't tell her what happened at that point because he's just trying to get her safe. He's like, okay, whatever. So they go to, this is where he goes back to Punisher, and they hit like a million different booby traps, almost explode. And then, that fan blade or that like fin from a giant boat falling, and he just like catches that whole thing. So tough.
So tough.
It was amazing. And eventually Frank comes out of his little submarine, I guess.
I don't even know what it's a boat. I think it's a fisherman's boat.
All right. He comes out of some boat in a robe, and he just starts arguing with Peter, and this is where you get the introduction to how good their banter like really is, because they keep mentioning this time where he saved him on Staten Island, and they just start fighting, and MJ's like, I really don't care. Like, shut up. Hello? That was weird. Can y'all hear me through my mic?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway. Yeah. So then MJ gets inside and she's all safe, and Frank realizes what's going on, and you get a scene that at least tells the audience who doesn't know, that his family was killed, and so he is kind of understanding of Peter, which is why it's not out of character for him to help out on a small scale like that, because he has a spot for stuff
Yeah.
like that, because he lost his family. And all of the scenes of them arguing is just amazing. Like Peter and Frank's banter is hilarious,
So peak.
especially like after the Odyssey. I mean, John Bernthal and Tom Holland,
Mm-hmm.
and that they filmed their audition tapes together for these characters 10 years ago, and they were like in kind of
So
separate deals
cool.
because that was in like the whole Netflix part of that. And he's still like, they still finally 10 years later got to do, not even have a scene together, but have like a whole movie together,
Yeah.
and it's amazing. So she gets safe, and then there's another alert, and this is Hulk, right? So he talked to Banner, and Banner told about like the little like device that controls Hulk essentially. And so we go,
inhibitor.
yeah, the inhibitor. And so Peter, he fixes it. Actually, he makes the inhibitor fully. He completes it with stuff that Frank has, and MJ helps out because she was like gonna do biochemical engineering or something. Oh, you get an amazing scene with MJ on the top bunk of the bed, and there's like a curtain between, and they're talking, and that's more acting from Tom Holland, where he's just like smiling, and like he's just so good as Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Like, I just loved those scenes so much. I felt for bro so hard. And so then he puts the mask back on, and she comes around and puts the chip on him, but she realizes, she's like, hey, this is like pretty serious stuff. This is not just like you're helping yourself feel better. This is like for containing a monster. Like, this is not good. And he's like, no, it's fine. I had to do it because that makes sense.
Well, he hit the like Sigma Wolf line of like, after she brings up the monster things, like, well, you should see how I am. Like, I am a
Well,
monster.
well, if you saw that, you'd understand.
Which, yeah.
He was tweaking out.
Yeah.
So then there's an alert downtown, and once he's got his inhibitor, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go take care of that. So he leaves, has Frank, has Fred from the Fred trilogy.
The greatest trilogy of all time.
Anyway, so then they go, and Hulk is breaking into the vault at the Department of Damage Control, and she's basically controlling Smart Hulk right now, is what she's doing. And so she's having him run to try to open it, and it's low-key working. Then Spider-Man goes up there to, help out, and Frank ends up following because MJ wanted him to go, like, take care of the Hulk because he probably couldn't do that alone. So, long story short, of course, what happens is Jean Grey can't control the Hulk, and the Hulk is actually coming out, and Spider-Man tries to talk him down, and it doesn't work, and you get just a straight Hulk out scene that we haven't had since Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And seeing, the shot where it's just his eyes and it's just the no banner, only Hulk, it was amazing.
So peak.
Yeah, what kind of sucks is that I was sitting there for a while, like having to process that I wasn't seeing Smart Hulk. I had to realize that this was actually Hulk, and it kind of took my brain a while to be like, it's the Hulk from Age of Ultron and Avengers 1, not,
Interesting.
like it took my brain a minute just because I was so used to Smart Hulk, which is bad, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, once it got going, and he the shot where the camera's like spinning in circle, like around, and he's like webbing through, and then so he looks like he's walking the whole time, but then he's like on the roof, and Hulk is of course
Oh,
stationary.
I love that shot.
Yeah, and he's like webbing himself out, and then Hulk he traps him with webs, and then Hulk does the clap. It's so good. I
Dude,
love
seeing
that.
him like load up for the clap, and I was like,
Ugh.
bro,
Yeah, that was so hype.
like no way, no way.
It was shot so well because that gave that clap its entire like
Dude,
build. It was like it's like when you hold Donkey Kong's thing,
literally.
like as long as you can, and then the camera moved with the camera gained momentum from the thunderclap as well, and then moved out with Peter. So
Dude,
Jean Grey,
even
so
even just the shot, whatever, um, Hulk stomps and like breaks the floor and Frank falls. So Peter
yeah,
like goes up and webs him and like pulls him across the floor, and then he's just shooting Hulk as like Spider-Man's above, and you just have this slow-mo shot, dude. That's
ah,
so peak. It's so
great
peak.
stuff. Yeah. So Frank was there, and this was another chance where they could have and should have mentioned Daredevil because Frank was like, Peter told Frank to not kill people whenever he said he was going to go find Jean while Spider-Man fought the Hulk. And it was exactly the conversations that he has with Daredevil, and they just didn't mention him. Like it's just crazy that there was a level of disconnection where they were trying to seemingly do some sort of at least some references because there is a Mayor Fisk thing in the background of uh like on a dumpster. Anyway, so yeah, Frank is gonna go find Jean Grey essentially, and Spider-Man's gonna contain the Hulk using the inhibitor chip. And he successfully does that kind of well, no, actually he doesn't. He fails with the like that little device because Hulk just grabbed that was like he powered it up and then Hulk just grabbed it and
Dude, that's
squished it.
another moment where the cinematography was done so well because the music building, everything about that made it seem like he was about to smack Hulk all the way down to the ground. And
Hmm.
then Hulk just grabs it. And it
Yeah, it
made
was
that scene
awesome.
so
And
much more impactful.
yeah, and Peter that move where Hulk like grabs him and he throws him back, so Peter goes through the window around, grabs the back of his head, and then webs him to the other side. So Hulk just like slams in the side of the building. And so at this point, Hulk has got like half a building attached to him because he just kept breaking stuff and Peter kept webbing it to him. So he's like holding on the edge of this one floor, like holding himself because it's all web behind him. And then Peter just does a whole, sun's going down, sun's getting real low. And it's unclear whether or not this was another like Hulk depressed moment where he like tries to kill himself or tries to help out, or if this was like Banner breaking through because he was talking to Bruce Banner. But
And Hulk generally hates that. So I think it
right.
is Banner breaking through.
All right. That's fair. I think that's just something we'll find out in Hulk's next appearance. Probably Secret Wars, because Hulk also may not remember, because I don't know if they're gonna do just Spider-Man remembers. I think they would maybe grab a handful of people. It would probably be some of the people that aren't in Doomsday. Anyway, so Hulk just gets sent to the prison, and it's like actually really sad because they have that because Bruce is just like, did I hurt anyone, whatever, and they show a news thing where it's like the Hulk is after years of being, you know, all good,
Yeah.
he like just lost control, which is just really sad because he was doing really good, of course. But yeah, just amazing to get the Hulk back after 10 years if you include Ragnarok. But
Yeah.
even that Hulk was a little bit more like that wasn't Savage Hulk. That was yeah. Loved it. So Jean Grey gets into the vault, but and then she gets into the mind of the DODC guy, and but Frank is it Frank that just hits her with the how'd she get disarmed or whatever?
Um well, Spider-Man puts the inhibitor on Jean,
Okay, okay,
and then she does get
yeah,
darted.
yeah, okay. So he puts the inhibitor chip on her, and she gets hit, and then everyone's back, and they arrest her and take her in. And Peter's like, "All right, just make sure you take good care of her." And the guy's like, "All right." And she said something about Sarah. She just like said the word Sarah as Peter was holding her, and Peter asked the guy, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, that was a loved one I had that I lost when she was in my brain." He's like, "Oh, okay." after that, he goes back to get MJ, and this scene is just as sad, if not more sad, than the rooftop scene. She found the letter because he brings it with him a lot, and he had it, and so she read it, and that's the letter that he of course wrote to her on No Way Home that explains everything, and she realizes kind of what's been going on, how she has referenced that she just felt like part of her was missing or that she was waiting for something, but she just and Peter takes off his mask and he's just like, I love you, basically, like all of that is true, and you mean so much to me. I wanted to keep you safe. And then Zendaya or MJ's just like, well, I don't love you. I don't even know you. And it's just like, ugh, that moment sucked.
And I think what makes that moment so much worse is that whatever she delivers that line of like, I don't love you and I don't know you, she's so like, she's so careful about the way she's saying it. Like you can tell she doesn't want to say it, but she also knows that she can't lie to the guy.
Yeah.
Like
She's not
just
doing it
knowing,
maliciously. She's just like, I don't even know
just
who you are, bro.
knowing that it's like seeing that it hurts her too, but knowing that it has to be said. And like you as the audience, you're sitting there and you're like, you know what she's gonna say. Everyone involved knows what she's gonna say, but she still has to say it.
So painful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Truly just like an all-time Spider-Man moment, because he's just like, well, all right, and they just sitting there in pain. It's so sad because he like took off his mask and everything. He's like, you just mean everything to me, and I love you. And I was, because he was just kind of hoping that some part of her would remember, and I think that's also a big reason why he never reached out, is because he was scared if she wouldn't. Honestly, I think that's a huge fear. At least
Yeah.
that's what I would be scared, and that's just like all of that waiting just amounted to the fact that she just has no idea who he is. The spell works basically, and that just sucks. But he swings her back
Oh,
to her
I love
apartment, and that's another really sad swinging scene where it's like she's
silent.
just like, yeah, and you get really good shots of like from behind, from the back, and it's her like holding on to him, and she's like kind of looking and thinking a little bit as Peter's swinging through the city. Also, the swinging scenes, you can actually like tell where in the city he's going. Like they were shot very, very well. So he gets to the apartment and she invites him in to go talk to Ned, because he explained that part too, like that was in the letter. And so then Ned's looking at Spider Tracker and he's tweaking out. And then he's like, Spider-Man's in the immediate vicinity. He's like, no way, that's crazy. And Spider-Man and Ned basically hang out. He doesn't tell Ned what's going on, even though at one point he goes to like take a shit or something. I don't know.
He goes to
Whatever.
get takeout. Like their
Of
food gets
course.
delivered.
Of course he does. Ned had to go get the food. So he goes and does that, and MJ was sketching a picture of them, which is cool because I don't think we got her sketching in anything other than the detention scene in Homecoming,
Yeah. I literally think that's the last time we saw her draw anything.
which is a cool, unique quality. But yeah, she drew a picture of them as they were building Lego Star Wars together, and of course that's an homage to just they built the Death Star. Like they're just
And
amazing.
She drew him with his mask off, which I really liked, even though
Yeah,
he had his mask on.
awesome,
I loved that.
awesome. Because she's like, you need to like tell him, and Peter's like looking like he's probably gonna do it, but Bro's getting called because Jean this is where it goes to the X-Men movie stuff basically. He calls Yelena, and Yelena is like, okay, her name is Jean Grey, and this is where you officially know who that she is, Jean Grey, and that my bad. And so this is where you just get a whole Jean Grey flashback for like 5 minutes. It's her and her older sister. She reveals that her older sister is Sarah. Yelena finds that out.
This happens a
Is-
lot earlier in the movie.
No, she finds out on the call because she's like, yeah, she has a older
You
sister.
know, but you don't see the flashback until later.
We find out Jean Grey's name is Jean Grey in the boat when MJ is in the boat, and she's talking with Peter.
Really?
You do?
Yes.
I thought Yelena finds out that.
Mm-mm.
No,
Well, I don't know if
you're right.
Yelena tells
No,
him
I
that,
think you're
but
right.
he's
I
on
think
his
you're right.
computer when he finds out, not on the laptop or on the desktop with Yelena on FaceTime.
Yeah.
That might be when they
That's
You're
talk
right.
about her
familiar. Yeah, I
sister.
think I did know that. And then I think what Yelena determined was that she had the older sister, and that's who Sarah was.
Mhm.
But then what MJ mentions is that she doesn't remember anything, and that's when he realizes that the goober's lying.
Yeah.
And then you cut to Jean Grey stuff, and this is where, as an X-Men fan, I was so satisfied because I have never seen Sadie Sink in anything. It just felt like a really basic, uninspired casting, and I was terrified. But whenever I finally realized that they were doing Jean Grey, and then it just gave her her own scene in her own like 10, 15 minutes of the movie, it really felt like actual comics Jean Grey, and she gives an amazing performance. And yeah, I think part of it also really random, but I kept looking at Sadie Sink and she has like orange hair, but for this movie they actually like made it red. You
Yeah.
know, like she's not like a ginger or whatever. And maybe
Mhm.
that was like subconsciously in my head as Jean Grey, and it just didn't look like it. But anyway, I think that's a great casting, and we got more X-Men casting news today. What's her name? For Emma Frost.
Her name is Samara Weaver.
Yeah.
And we have rumored Rogue, right? That's still
We have rumor. I saw a rumor saying that Kaylee Spaney would be cast as Rogue, which would be an amazing
yeah.
casting.
It's
But I
that
don't
and
think it's real. And
someone else is Beast.
um, you obviously you still have the Philip Seymour Hoffman's son being rumored as Cyclops, which if he doesn't get in shape for that,
Yeah.
that's not a good casting. I don't care what people have to say.
Mm,
Like you need to be in
that-
shape to be in a in shape character's role.
Yeah, still, I would not like that casting. But I think someone asked him about it, and it didn't seem like that's what was going on. But they're still figuring it out. I hope he doesn't get cast, of course. But yeah, they need someone to match Jean Grey's. And since Sadie Sink is Jean Grey, I think they're gonna find someone to match that level of fame to a point. You know,
Yeah,
they'll find somebody because it's supposed to be centered around Cyclops. So the movie,
and it needs to be someone that we can honestly take seriously, being in a romantic relationship with freaking Samara Weaver and Sadie Sink. Like obviously, like that's like no hate to him, but he's like that's not his role. That's not it's not going to look right that role unless he gets in shape. But like
let's see
there's a
Bone
very
Smackers.
specific figure that Cyclops has. Like you can see it through his suit that his abs.
Yeah,
Like come on.
he's also like he has to be hot. He has to be hot, and I'm sorry.
It needs to be someone
Sorry,
like
bro.
not obviously like not on the same level because I also wouldn't want to see Jacob Elordi in an MCU movie, but it needs to be like
Right.
that kind of deal.
It just needs to not be some ugly dude.
Wow.
Anyway, it's all right. He can be someone else. I don't know. Iceman, just give him Iceman. Also, but I don't know if I need to see Iceman in the X-Men reboot. Anyway, so yeah, this is where you get basically she got kidnapped at a park. If she was teaching her to jump, which was just also very X-Men, like learning to use powers, stuff like that, was just so creative. And her sister was teaching her that because she was also a telepath. But she gets kidnapped by Department of Damage Control, of course, and then Jean is now getting tortured in this experiment room. Of course, also very X-Men feeling, and just yeah, like all of that stuff was great. At first, I had a problem because I thought that the DODC guy was going to be playing the first like anti-mutant person, which wouldn't, of course, be stupid because he's a minority, and that would just take away from X-Men as a concept. But it turns out he's just his own separate deal, and he was just trying to pervert her powers for whatever he wanted to do. And this is where Trip, talk about the VMAX reveal, because the way you explained it was like really good. Because I
Yeah.
did not see that coming.
I thought a really good part of this movie was that the entire buildup of Jean Grey's character at the time was just your like generic search that a character has in a movie where it's like an emotional search for something, and it really adds to the whole vibe of her situation with her and her sister because she's got this message from her sister that's VMAX, and when she's in this room getting like tortured in the same way that like a mutant gets tortured in any other good X-Men movie, um, it's like she's reeling because she's like getting tortured, and she's looking up at the ceiling, and it's revealed that VMAX is it's just the label on the vent above that says Vent Max, but the ENT is wiped off, or it has faded off. So this whole thing she's been searching for this whole time, this like super meaningful word that's going to mean something, is just a stupid label on a vent, and it's so meaningless and like dehumanizing, and like just kind of like makes her, that whole situation, feel like pointless and like hopeless, because it's basically just,
It was the last thing her sister saw because they killed
Yeah.
her sister, and so she was looking up in the same torture chamber,
yeah,
and that's how she finds out that her sister was killed.
yeah, exactly. But like more importantly in that moment is the fact that they're diminishing
Well, right, yeah, I'm just
what she's
explaining.
been searching for this whole time to what it really is, which is just like that stupid label.
Yeah,
like
no,
it's super powerful the way they do that.
Yeah, it's great. So then she gets upset and just goes ultra epic Jean Grey mode, I guess, and just fights against their, which makes sense because she's a. How do they scale it? What is it in X-Men? Like blank tier mutant, like
I have no idea what you're talking about.
mega level threat. How do they scale it in X-Men? You'll totally remember. How do they scale?
She's a big deal, basically. Is
She's
like
a
what?
special grade sorcerer.
Yeah,
Mutant power levels. Yeah. Okay. Epsilon, Delta, Gamma, Beta, Alpha, Omega, and she's Omega levels, so that's like top tier. Anyway, so it made sense. It wasn't like she just got some random nothing boost of powers like in a corny movie where they believe themselves or get mad and that makes them more powerful. Jean Grey is genuinely just that.
I mean, yeah, I also like it because it parallels Peter's progression, at least in my brain, of like you see him, like she has the line, we're skipping slightly here, but a little bit later in the movie, like right after like right before the conflict finally resolves, Jean Grey has a line to Spider-Man where she's like, I'm much more powerful now than before whenever I tried to enter your mind. Peter is also a lot more powerful than whenever she last tried to enter his mind. So I really liked having that, like, they are growing together, but they're in staggered places, but they're both still growing.
Mhm.
And I really liked having that parallel between the pro and antagonist.
Yeah. So let's catch up to that point. So Peter, you go.
Like also the progression in this movie between the two of them is both like, it's literally like trauma bonding is what they're both doing, because the moment that Peter starts to evolve is whenever he realizes that like MJ is no longer like a realistic, like it's not, he's like alone in the context of like MJ as well, because he watches MJ kiss her boyfriend, and then he like grows out of that, and then in the scene where Jean Grey realizes that her sister's dead, and she is where her sister was, which shows that she is dead, and there's no searching for her anymore, and she is alone. That's when she also does the same evolution and is able to grow in her powers. Like it's all, and then obviously like that's touched on more whenever they have their like they're like in each other in the mind scene, where they just have like a full emotional moment, it's a character building moment, where they're just talking to each other. That's kind of focusing on that, where they're both basically the same character, just on two different sides of the spectrum in that movie. Like that's how you do a good protagonist and antagonist, is where they're kind of the same person, but opposite sides of the spectrum. And they did it really well in this one, because you don't want Jean Grey to be a villain, like actually, but like it's totally reasonable for this version of Jean Grey to start out as a villain.
Yeah, and I think it's always okay to write X-Men, young X-Men who are learning their powers, to always have them be really, edgy and angry and not really doing the right thing, because they're just, it's like,
Yeah.
But to catch up, just to get to that moment so we can talk about it, Peter goes and he fights the hand. Sadie Sink takes over. Jean Grey mind controls the hand, and Peter goes and he's getting his butt whooped. And then she has that speech where she's like, you can't, you know, are you Peter Parker or are you Spider-Man? You have to choose,
Yeah.
basically. And then Peter is like, I'm both. And then he takes off the inhibitor, but like he's learned to control it now. And so,
And
to
then
a
you
point where-
immediately get. So you have the scene on the trailer when he breaks the sword, which is awesome. I love that.
yeah, it's
Um, and then immediately following that, he gets charged again, and then like with his new extra level spider powers, kicks one of the hand members up like towards this pipe,
oh
and
yeah,
then stops them right before they get stabbed. And that's how you as the audience
Mm.
know that even though he has
Yeah, it's combined.
right.
yeah,
He's
like,
controlled his buff.
he is able to control it. So
Yeah.
that moment was
Awesome.
so cool.
Yeah, that was really good, like good visual cue for that.
Yeah.
And then he does that the scene, because originally he got depowered by these like just anti-Spider-Man whatever gloves that they made,
Yeah.
and his webs didn't go through. But this time his organic webs just shoot right through the things and just go up and web them. That was so cool.
I loved that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so he just does this crazy like Mortal Kombat finisher where he jumps like up or something or like crawls around.
Yeah.
And then he just like goes down, and as he's going down, he like does this and like webs the entire hand going.
Which also, like, I was thinking, it's literally like putting your thumb over a hose. Is literally what he's doing with his web slingers, is to make them squirt out like that. I'm like, that's so cool that they thought about that.
Mhm.
Also a move from Insomniac Spider-Man.
Yeah, so you press like your joysticks, right?
Probably. It's been too long.
And then he like turns around and webs everyone. Yeah, it was an amazing moment, and that's when the hand is cool because it's not even them as characters; it's her controlling. So obviously, it's just a cool hand to fight scene.
Dude, I love the way that fight scene works because it's literally like the choreography is so perfectly done for them to do things that you can only do if you have the same mind as someone else and you just both know that this is what we're doing. Because that is the situation for them. But the choreography very much takes advantage of the fact that they are like under a hive mind, basically.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was awesome because they were in such information.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then Spider-Man, Peter breaks through, and Jean is like holding everyone. Oh yeah, she's basically holding like a little bit of New York hostage. She had this like brain thing, and people can't even move. People are freaking out. Frank has found the top of this building, and he's like aiming in on where Jean and Peter are. So anyway, Jean is tweaking out. She's about to kill the antagonist, and then Peter steps in basically because he's Peter Parker. Doesn't want her to murder him, and he doesn't want him to die. So this is where Jean Grey is like just really pissed off, and this is the most adult thinking back on like imagining this part as a comic. Like this is really where you get full adult Peter like helping this kid out, and it's like actually Spider-Man helping this kid, and he takes off the mask because she knows who he is. So he takes it off, and she's basically just freaking out and go.
So he's had his mask off. He takes his mask off to take off the inhibitor, and then he fights the hand with his mask off, which from a filmmaking perspective, you see his eyes turn completely black whenever he gets his power, so the audience needs to see that his eyes are black.
Mhm.
But also secondly, it's so perfect to have that be like he breaks a sword and says, "I'm both," as he has the Spider-Man suit on with the mask off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
perfect. And I
Yeah.
love that you get to continue with that into their conversation with Jean
Are you
Grey.
Peter Parker, Spider-Man is like, I'm both.
So perfect.
Tough. So he basically goes in there, and Jean Grey threatens him, saying like, I can look into your mind. I'm way more powerful. I could probably do it. And Peter's gonna say, he's just like, all right, do it. So he
Yep.
does, and then you get back to this Aunt May flashback that we originally got in which he first tried to enter his mind, and then in another scene where he was freaking out from the mutation.
Yep.
So, and this was like one of the most Sam Raimi parts of that movie, where it just basically what happens is Aunt May is delivering the speech to Peter about when he was a kid, right after she found out he was Spider-Man at the end of Homecoming, and it's just this really heartfelt speech of like things can get bad, but the people who love you because you're you, and just things like that. Just great Aunt May, helpful dialogue, mentoring this kid. And of course, Peter's visited her grave all the time in this movie, so she's like a present theme.
Mhm.
and what happens is it's Jean Grey in Peter's
She
place.
like actively
So
takes his place in the memory,
Mhm.
like his
yeah,
physical place.
so Aunt May is delivering the speech to Jean Grey essentially. And that was just the most Sam Raimi thing ever. Like, just she just comes in and just delivers straight bars, and you just start crying, and then Peter like learns the lesson from it and helps out. Like, it was awesome, and he's like
And
shows up. He's like just standing there. That was pretty funny, actually.
And that's it's meant to display whenever she has on her grave, whenever it says you help somebody, you help everyone, and it's meant to show that like it doesn't just help Peter because it also applies the
so
same way
good.
to her.
It's so
And
good.
then,
And
Yeah,
then
really
like
good.
I
Yeah.
love that
Sorry.
they double up on the replacement thing because you have Jean Grey replace Peter, and then as soon as her speech is done, Peter sits where Aunt May was sitting and replaces Aunt May, and it's so good.
So
It's
emotional.
so good.
Yeah, really great stuff. And he has his mask off. That's where you feel like the most. Like, I just feel like that's straight out of a book. Just Peter Parker sitting on a bed with his mask off, helping some kid.
Yeah.
mhm.
Awesome, amazing. So Jean Grey is feeling all better because, you know, that's just what Aunt May does. That's what Spider Man does. It's just how Spider Man works. You know, he just makes people feel better and helps them out. Not just the person, the character, but just like the stories in general. So yeah, Aunt May does that. But then Frank's head ass just tries to snipe Jean Grey. A reasonable thing to do. She is holding not half of New York. She's holding a small section of New York mentally hostage, and everyone is having like the worst. It's bad. Like, people are like crying and cars are crashing. So he tries to snipe her, but Peter, oh, this is so cool. In their vision, he looks into like this
Oh,
dark space, and then he sees the top of the roof, which is like his spider sense working through the
it's so cool.
mind thing, which was awesome. And so then he gets out. He just uses just his willpower to get out of the just whatever's going on in the
To
brain.
kick
And
Jean
so
out.
yeah, so then he just pushes Jean and saves her, but he gets shot, and he's like dying. Like, it's pretty bad. And so he's fading in and out. But Jean Grey saves him by holding, basically just using her brain to keep him healed, just keep him alive. Frank takes him to the hospital. Claire from Daredevil got a scene cut. Whatever, would have been nice, but it's fine. And so Peter's basically dying, and the whole world is watching. It feels like, the scene in Spider Verse, the "I'm not scared of the dark" scene, where it's like when Peter's dead. It felt like that, but like before he died. Like, it showed shots of New York with of course, they had the news thing going over the scene, which
Yeah.
is exactly like Spider Verse. And there's like posters of him, like on the bridge. They have Spider Man, and everyone's like watching. They basically say that everyone's, you know, watching, and so they say pray for Spider Man, basically. And then MJ are watching, and so that's obviously really sad. And Peter wakes up, and he's got a bunch of gifts there. There's people outside. They're lined up in Spider Man masks, but Frank is there. And so Frank basically apologizes, and you get good moments of him being like, I gotta like chill out sometimes.
Yeah.
And yeah, and he just has formed this attachment with this kid that, honestly, to a point, he might see his own kid in him. Like, there's definitely a big brother aspect to it, but also like when that moment where he tells him he's really proud of him and everything, feels a lot like he's maybe talking to his son, or what his son could have been to a point. That was my interpretation.
Mhm.
And the big thing you focus on in that scene is it zooms in to one of the gifts, and MJ had left the drawing that she gave of him and Ned, meaning MJ, was checking on him and thinking about him and everything. So you know, that's pretty sweet, and gives Peter some level of relief and happiness. So Peter then so Frank puts on, because he's, whenever you're ready to go, I got an idea. So Frank puts on the Spider-Man mask and just goes in the window, and he's like, I'm all good, basically, as Peter Parker gets out of the hospital, and he goes into the crowd of not Spider-Man
Yeah,
protesters.
you have the you have the group of people outside the hospital who are like awaiting Spider-Man to wake up so they can be there to cheer for him. And then you get this, it's such a beautiful scene of you have Spider-Man Peter Parker like among his fans, and then Frank has the mask and the glove on, and he's waving from the window that Peter was in. So he gets to be like among the people as they show support for him, and he has such a cool moment where there's a kid on his dad's shoulders who like does the thwip hands at Peter, and then Peter does it back, and it's so good.
One of the
This
best
scene
shots in the
had
whole
me in
movie.
tears. This scene had me in tears.
Yeah,
It would have had me in tears.
If you weren't such a big
If
dog.
you weren't there.
I mean, I just don't cry at movies that much, but I like that would be one of it. That was it. Got me like it was there for me. Like that was that moment.
It was just so amazing. It was like, yeah, and like that's another just Tom Holland acting also just helped us get it done. Like he was so happy about that. He was just smiling at that kid, feeling appreciated. Finally, feeling appreciated.
Yeah.
Oops. Absolutely loved it. And so yeah, the movie ends with Peter going to May's grave and being like, I'm gonna take your advice, I'm not gonna do it alone, and I'm gonna like take care of myself a little bit more and not just focus on, you know, things like that. I'm gonna actually love myself and take care of that. So and that's shown whenever he starts walking to go to the deli, but then what are you doing? But then the cop lady calls and she's like, he gets an alert that there's a bank robbery and he's like, I'm good to go. And she's like, no, it's okay. And he actually like chooses to be like, okay, I trust him. I can actually just give myself a little bit of happiness, you know? So, and that's just that eternal struggle for the character of Peter Parker. That is the main point of that character. But yeah, it was amazing. And so then he sits down and then Ned, stop. And so Ned is there and he's buying flowers for May. And then he sees him, and he goes up to Ned. Oh, you also get a scene where he's like on the roof and on the sunset afterwards, and then it shows MJ, and she's holding the Black Dahlia necklace, which just hints at, you know, just that there's a future that parts of her may remember. She wants to remember and form a new relationship. Either one of those options I'm okay with. I would honestly prefer the second one because I feel like that's just more impactful.
Yeah.
That she chooses, it's not like she remembers, but she chooses to like give herself the opportunity for that future, because that's what she was talking about. She's like, I just feel like I'm waiting for something great,
right?
So that's what I got the vibe of there. And all right, I feel bad if I didn't screen share, considering that took you like 10 minutes.
I mean, you don't have to pull anything up.
That's okay.
It's putting it in the thing.
No, it looks good. You can see.
But
like,
yeah, also you can see here, this really showcases the difference between the quality in the Garfield Spider-Man movies and the other two, is because one of them actually has Peter Parker in the Spider-Man celebration instead of it being Spider-Man. It's kind of like what makes those moments so cool.
One is more impactful. I got that. Keep talking.
I can tell you I felt a lot more from the newest one than from the Spider-Man 3 one. Obviously.
Yeah. Good. It's so good.
And yeah, one is the climax of the film, and one is to show him being a dick. So, definitely. Because he's being a bad person in that scene. Because he's all egotistical about his parade.
Yeah.
And he kisses Gwen.
Right.
And, yeah. Amazing way to end that film with the Dahlia necklace. And then, so he goes to Ned, and then Ned has maybe not a full memory. It's not fully elaborated on whether or not he completely remembers, but they do the handshake, and they both like, well, of course Peter remembers it, but Ned like subconsciously remembers the handshake, and then he looks at him and he says, Peter. So that's definitely left up. That's definitely like ambiguous. Like we're not really gonna know until the next movie comes out how much he remembered or what level that is. Like I said, to service MJ as a character, I don't think they should just have him remember to a point. Like I want MJ to choose Peter.
Yeah.
I want Mary not Mary Jane. She's Michelle Jones. Whatever. I want her to have to like make the decision to try to love him, even though she doesn't remember, because her boyfriend sucks anyway. So who cares? Peter's hot. Like, go do it. They're both pretty hot, but like, you're gonna want to date Spider-Man. Maybe it's very reasonable to not date Spider-Man. Actually, I can totally see either way. But yeah, that is Spider-Man Brand New Day, essentially. And then you get an end credit scene revealing that he is in Battle World, which is just going to be a setup for him being in Avengers Secret
We
Wars.
don't know if that's the case, though.
No, that's...
If we're talking about where it goes, like, it just it shows a dot on the Spider-Man tracker that is, like, off-world.
Yeah,
another Spider-man.
Yeah,
it doesn't even imply that Spider-Man is
that's
on
like the
Battle World.
consensus. Like, it's a Battle World setup. Like, that's what that is.
But it's not even saying like it's saying a different Spider-Man. Like, it specifically says a new Spider-Man, whether that be a Tobey Maguire or whoever. But like,
it did say that.
It said
say
new.
a new. It did say new Spider-Man.
It did say a new
location
Spider-Man.
found. I thought I rewatched the scene on TikTok last night, and I retained everything.
Watch it again.
I retained everything last night and made full, complete sense to me. I promise. I'm pretty. It's just a Battle World setup. That's what everyone. Because I've watched breakdowns of that scene. It's just like that's what it is. Everyone's talking about Battle World.
It's the best live action Spider-Man movie.
It's the It's the fourth best one. This is the third best one.
That's the best one.
It's the best.
That's the best
It's
one.
absolutely no way in hell better than Spider-Man 1 or 2. I still think that's crazy. I can't even.
You talk like these are pretty common takes. Like most people, not that matters much.
It's common to have them on the same level. Like, I've seen it go around
Spider-Man Raimi trilogy because it's corny.
Yeah, but you also have you're very harsh on what is corny and what's not corny. Like, you get corned out on a lot of stuff. But it's
irrelevant.
Also the charm
irrelevant.
of movies.
That's like
it's not irrelevant.
I feel like that's not even a good metric when we're talking about Spider-Man. When I've given it a lot of credit for being charming through that, but it is obviously. I think if you actually don't think that those movies are corny, I don't know what you think is corny. It's like Hallmark level corny.
The way you have to like the Sam Raimi trilogy is to say that they're corny and think that that's a good thing, not to deny the fact that they're corny.
Do we think corny and campy are the same thing? Because I honestly would not.
Close. That's
they're close enough.
I think they're distinct enough that you have to mention that they are campy, like they're fun and goofy, and they say stuff that's just like silly writing, like "punch me, I bleed," but that's not like cornball cringe like Ned. That's
quality,
like that's not something
an excuse for quality. Just because you make something campy means you intentionally made it corny, but that doesn't mean it's quality.
I think
I'm not talking about corny. I'm talking about campy. I think there's a difference in Ned saying stuff like 2 energy drinks, and then versus stuff
that's
like
corny, but it's not campy. Campy
exactly, but the Sam Raimi
purpose.
trilogy is a different kind where it's campy, not corny.
Campy is just corny on purpose. It's just cringy on purpose. But that doesn't equate to quality. Intent and quality are two different things. You can intentionally, like Scary Movie 6 is meant to be bad, but if you say, well, it's meant to be bad, so it's only a 5 out of 10. No, it's still bad. 0 out of 10 because it's bad.
It's still bad.
Stranger Things?
Scary Movie.
Scary Movie 6.
The movie's peak.
Stranger Things is not bad.
Anyway, we'll do our rankings on a separate video. That'll be our next video. We're gonna have like suit rankings, just all the movie rankings, Spider-Man ending rankings. It'll be probably at least 4, and we'll screenshot our Letterboxd remake. But yeah, it is a very good movie, and it's the most Spider-Man feeling movie. It's the best like shot Spider-Man movie. Like, the angles, the camera work is phenomenal. It's not, even if it's not like the most gorgeous on like the colors or the shots, it is the best like camera work and shot, and just the way that you track with Spider-Man, the swinging scenes. It is really good, and I'm so happy that this movie is making like that much money.
This review got this review that I talked to you about reporting earlier for spoilers, just because I don't like it, but like also like you got to put a spoiler on there. It got spoiler. It got
what?
I don't know if Letterboxd or if the guy who posted this review posted the spoiler, but it says this review may contain spoilers. It got added to that review, discussing how Phoenix from the X-Men is the main villain, which is just
Stupid. The way they said it. God.
Phoenix from the
I'll
X-Men.
read it, Drew. In a perfect world, the main villain of this new Spider-Man movie would be an actual Spider-Man villain, not Phoenix from the X-Men. Phoenix from the X-Men? Are we dead ass? As a comic book fan, I would love to have seen someone not Phoenix from the X-Men.
That godforsaken dog.
I swear.
Did you see Will's review, Drew?
No.
Rose.
I'll read it too. I got it pulled up. It is atrocious. This is one
Had
of the
fun. Baffled by the online consensus that this is a visual upgrade over Homecoming.
What?
I'm saying you're like how does it look better than one of the worst looking movie trilogies of all time? Because this is a great looking movie, and those movies are ugly and they
What
suck.
are you talking about?
Yeah,
Clearing a Homecoming is one of the easiest feats ever.
that's just an ugly trilogy. That trilogy is so ugly. It has no
Yes.
style, no anything.
I
And
don't
this
know.
movie,
I don't know in what world you think this isn't a visual upgrade over Homecoming. As someone who enjoys film and like enjoys the filmmaking qualities that it actually has in this movie, like for the first time, it's just stupid.
I
But
have no idea
so
how.
like I was thinking about this earlier, and I was getting really worked up, like not like in like a angry way, just like in a I could defend this really fervently and like be effective with it if you just enter this movie. Like people love to hate on these movies just because they're like new, bro. If this movie, if you think about this movie as if it came out in like 2011, then you're gonna think it's an incredible movie that it is. If you don't base it off of how good it is based on, well, for its time, it's good. So every movie now is just not that good because it's modern day, and I'm gonna hit on everything new because some older movie that does like one writing aspect slightly better and everything else worse is better because why? Because like it's older and it's more charming because it's older. Like I hate that kind of this like purist 2000s 2010s perspective of like the obviously the Raimi trilogy, but like also the Garfield
Wait,
like two movies.
what writing aspect is better in Homecoming?
I'm not talking about Homecoming. I'm talking about like like 2011, like 2000, like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. Like there's gonna be people who are gonna, and there are people who like refuse to give this movie like the credit it deserves, and it's the same people who consciously love older movies for like give older movies like a pass on certain aspects, or just like are the kind of people that can't bear to have a 2026 movie come out and be a 5-star movie because they don't want to, they want to be this like highbrow like pinky up film
Elitist.
critic that like doesn't like newer movies. But the thing is, like a new comic book movie that's actually like there's only a little bit wrong with this movie, and like that's why it's not a 5 stars, because there's a little bit wrong with it, not because it's whatever, it's like lacking the charm that old cinema had. If the people will look at this movie as if the people who love and defend with their lives the Raimi trilogy and the Garfield 2 movies will like just view this movie as if it came out in 2011, and in 20 years we'll look back on it and we'll give it the credit it deserves as just as good as Spider-Man 2.
Raimi fans are loving this movie.
Yeah, but there's
that
also
was-
a handful of people who refuse to give this movie any higher than 3.5 stars.
Let's
And
give
they're
it
the
a
same
minute,
people that try to hate on every single new MCU movie because Marvel's just slop nowadays. CBMs aren't that good. CBM's ceiling is a 4-star. Definitive CBM is a 4-star. Maybe the perfect CBM is a 4-star. It's ridiculous. I can't stand hearing that kind of stuff. It's like just accept that like a movie can be good if it's, and it doesn't have to be like this like gritty like the Banshees of Inisherin or The Lobster or like I only like Luca Guadagnino and freaking whatever his name is that Emma Stone is with from Begonia. Like just accept that this is a quality movie that was made with intent and is better than at least 90%. It's better than most of the Marvel movies that we've seen since like
It's a top 10 Marvel movie.
I mean, yeah, like it's amazing. It's that level. It's up there with like the quality at least of like an Infinity War, Civil War, or like obviously not Infinity War. Infinity War is one of the best movies ever made, and it is the like definitive comic book movie.
I would say it's definitely on that level because I think there's a differentiation when you have great comic book movies that are like Infinity War or like Superman or like Guardians 2 or Suicide Squad and Civil War versus ones that are like Mask of the Phantasm, Spider-Man 2 that are like actual just like a melodramatic just dramas like the Batman. There is a quality difference, but you can still have 10 out of 10 versions of both of those without acting like one is real cinema and one's not.
Yeah, because like what people like need out of so many movies, and so the Batman at a 4-star, whatever. That I don't. There is also like the kind of thought that like this movie couldn't be like a 5-star like up there all time because it doesn't have like this insane like saucy aspect as like that final scene of Spider-Man or like the visual spectacle of Across the Spider-Verse or the visual and writing spectacle of like Mask of the Phantasm or the Batman and its amazing like gritty look and its new like vibe that it brought to comic book movies. Like you can also just have a perfect comic book movie that has the normal like style but just does everything well. Mm-hmm. And that's almost what this movie is.
Yeah, I would throw in the same top ones like Superman, Infinity War, and Civil War, like just those fun ones that like.
Yeah, but like Superman, I think is an example of something that does every aspect of a normal comic book movie really well, and it doesn't have this like unique like individual style that like has to be like perfect. It like follows like a pretty common, like a pretty normal that we see CBM framework, but just does it perfectly. Like that's what Superman is, and Superman. That's why it was so good for James Gunn to start out the DCU like that. It's because he started it off with the structure of a regular comic book movie with a lot of villains, or not like a lot of villains, but like a handful of heroes and a handful of villains that are all kind of side characters to the main villain and hero.
That and Infinity War, like just the 10 out of 10 versions of what the fun perfect comic book movies can be.
Yeah,
because I have Infinity War next to by Spider-Man 2, but one of them is obviously like actual like well-written drama, and one is just like
totally different. Yeah,
but they're both 5 stars, but they're both perfect versions of what they're trying to do. Yeah. Anyway, we'll do our ranking soon, but any other thoughts about Spider-Man Brand New Day?
It's good. You should watch it.
Yeah. You probably will watch it. We probably don't even need to tell you to watch it.
The movie might make $3 billion. With the way Obsession doubled and doubled over the weekends, that's this new like trend where now movies can do that.
Well, it won't.
It's not gonna follow Obsession.
Yeah, it's not gonna follow Obsession, but like Obsession showed that like movies can have like word of mouth. Like if a movie's good, people are gonna keep going back and seeing it and telling their friends about it.
And the rate
you weren't going to get that with like bad movies. You don't get that anymore with bad movies. Yeah. You don't get big money with bad movies anymore. I don't think it's going to keep happening.
Yeah, and
I don't think a Moana remake was ever. I earlier thought this. After seeing what Moana remake did, we're in this new age of movies where bad movies will not make a lot of money, and people know when it's going to be slop. And we'll see it and it's good, then it'll later make money.
It's the same concept as why Obsession did what it did, is because people it's such a small movie that people needed the assurance or even just the knowledge that it existed from people watching it in theaters saying it's good. And then those second and third weekends really bring the money in.
TikTok carried that movie a lot, like just word of mouth on there was insane.
It's what a strange phenomenon that we saw with that movie that
it never happens. It never happens
before.
Yeah, I was telling Mr. Gambaro this. I don't think that in terms of how many tickets are bought across the entire year, I think it's the same as it always was, except those tickets are only designated to select movies, which is why you just have to make a quality movie or people won't see it. Like, it's not that people are going less, it's that they're more selective, and it always gets selected down to certain few movies.
Well, I mean, we can't afford as much, and cinema is doing the best this year or not, maybe not doing statistically the best, but
the
it
best
is.
thing they've had since
It seems like it is
something.
back, like from pre-COVID era.
And we still got Doomsday, a Hunger
Yeah.
Games movie. Oh my
Which
god!
seeing how Spider-Man's doing, I actually have a lot of faith that Sunrise on the Reaping could actually like break $1 billion. Like I do genuinely. I'm like, okay, wow, we might
You
be
choose that? I'm so excited for that movie. That's gonna be my favorite movie of the year. Oh my
definitely
god!
gonna, and like that movie's gonna make me rewatch or make me watch all the Hunger Games for the first time. So my experience with that movie is probably gonna be incredible.
Oh,
Like,
dude, you're gonna watch Catching Fire for the first
That
time?
is gonna be an awesome
I haven't seen those movies since I was
Songbirds
very
and
young.
Snakes is great too. They're just great movies. That's also one of the most like consistent. Okay, the Mockingjay Part 1 and 2 is kind of weird. How Foggy's in that. Foggy's one of the
I don't think I could accept Foggy in a role of Foggy because he's
he's
not
like a military.
He's not a good actor.
You know the song, obviously. You know the song in
Yeah.
they're
they're out on like the river when she sings it. He's one of the men that's with her.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, that's before Daredevil as well. Interesting. Before he.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He's
you know
sure
what?
getting work.
I just love that certain group of people rewatched all the Spider-Man movies just to give this one a 3.5. That's what you get.
You deserve it.
Wasting all your time.
Just to not give any Spider-Man. You're telling me you don't think a single Spider-Man movie is above a 4-star?
The highest he gave was Spider-Man 2, and he said it's basically a perfect comic book movie, and he gave it 4 stars.
I don't like that.
Wow.
And then he also gave Homecoming 4 stars, and everything else is not highly rated.
It's a very common line you see from people who like are purists of like Grand Budapest Hotel. Wes Anderson is the best director ever. Christopher Nolan is the best director ever, but I only give all of his movies 4 stars. Like
it's okay.
People refusing to see a movie for the first time in theaters when it releases and say that this is going to go down as a classic. We saw a classic two weeks ago. We saw an all-time classic 2 weeks ago that people don't want to like accept as a, which makes me. This movie has a 4.4? Yeah, suck on that. Which is crazy because that movie's got crazy haters too. What?
The Odyssey has a 4.4.
Yeah, we're talking about the classic that came out 2 weeks ago, and then we just saw what is this like a. It's the comic book movie of the decade. It's the live action comic book movie of the decade.
Like you're talking like to the average person, you're not saying like it's better than the Batman, right?
Oh frick! Yeah.
Hold on. Wait. Decade.
It's hard for me to say Batman, like consider Batman in like the comic book.
The Batman, Suicide Squad, Across the Spider-Verse, Superman. Those are all this decade.
I guess you're right.
It's the fifth best one this decade.
But we're talking like I guess this is the defining MCU. I should say just the defining MCU one.
That was another main thing that I forgot. This movie actually felt like the first thing that was post Endgame that felt like it was a post Endgame separate identity, and this is what I want them to do. And here's the problem, because now they're gonna have to reboot after Secret Wars, like soft reboot after Secret Wars, and that's the vibe that it's gonna be. And this is just what it should have been after Endgame, is this vibe the whole time. And now they have to do 2 Avengers movies to make it feel like its own separate thing. But this just felt so like perfectly secluded, but the MCU was just off on its own new direction, but it actually felt like it was going somewhere with like Yelena and everything like that.
Yeah. And I still I stand on the belief that I had whenever I or throwback to what earlier this week, Monday, whenever I said that I think that this movie is going to be a thematic, or not thematic, but a stylistic blend of Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts from last year, because I think that those were 2 like prototypes they had for this new style of movie where they focus on like good aspects, focus on comic book aspects, focus on filmmaking aspects, and Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, they combined them for this one, and it was
wonderful.
Yeah, and I think that was, I'm very happy that that's the route that they went, because I thought it was what they would do, and it is. You see the montage, like that was peak. I don't know if I want to see that in like every movie, because then it gets kind of gimmicky. But like, You
I
needed
think
to
it
see that
was-
for Fantastic Four. You needed to see that for Spider-Man. Because
I
you
think
I
didn't
it's
think
get,
it was well
honestly-
used in the places they used it.
yeah.
I think it's crazy how big of a hole Marvel had dug themselves into at this point that they have to have like a perfect streak of amazing movies, and it's still like Doomsday is still like going to be an issue because they've had insane success. They just did X-Men 97, Deadpool, and Wolverine, which was a success, and then
Yeah, this
and
one.
then 2025 was Thunderbolts, Daredevil, Born Again, Fantastic Four, Wonder Man, and now Spider-Man. That's like and one of the best streaks they've ever had. Like they just Marvel in general, better than like some Phase 3 because there was some bad in Phase 3.
People
They've
still
just
don't
dug
believe in
themselves
them.
such a hole that Doomsday is still like a what?
Well, if Doomsday was like, if Doomsday was
Helps.
any other like, if they hadn't revealed so much stuff that's so risky with Doomsday, then we would all believe that Doomsday is like gonna be amazing.
Yeah, some of the fault is
If,
also
if they, but
is-
like my thing is like, okay, everything that we've revealed from we got revealed from Doomsday felt like it was gonna be another like Kate BS type movie, but like if they maintain the same style, which I don't know if the Russos are gonna have their own like style. That's
it looks like
the
this movie.
directors. But if they have the same style that these past 3 movies that we've seen from Marvel have, then like, and the TV shows that they've released this year, all of them, I've heard Wonder Man is great. Rest
It
in
actually
peace.
looks like Doomsday actually looks like it has sauce compared to all of their movies. This
If
movie
it's got directing sauce, and I totally believe in it because that's what
it
makes
really does.
the past 3 movies so good is
It
the
looks like-
directors.
It looks like it does, honestly. Yeah, that's gonna be a big thing this year. So
An
Actually,
Avengers movie with directorial sauce could be the best Avengers movie.
It absolutely could be. It absolutely could be.
Because like I love Infinity War, but it doesn't have directorial sauce, and that's something that we're seeing a lot more. And they have to
Mhm.
adapt to the modern atmosphere with that.
for sure. Yeah, Drew, point above. Tell them where to follow the
Wait,
Instagram.
hold on. Is it
Point to
where
your
I
shit.
don't
Above you. It's just like
It's-
directly above your head is the Instagram.
Hey, that's the Instagram symbol for me.
and then
It's
more towards your
right
window.
there.
More towards your window is the TikTok.
Well,
But-
there's TikTok like here.
After the T.
The
So-
logo for TikTok.
Oh, wait, this one?
We
No,
need to
other
put a
window.
Subway Surfers.
Other
Do that,
window.
do that on the other side, closer to your window. Yeah, there you go.
That's also this is also my window.
If you don't point, no, it's not. If you don't point correctly, they're not going to follow the TikTok. So you have to do it.
I wish I could see through your eyes to know where this stuff is because like that is where the Instagram is and that's where the TikTok is for me. And it says at Act 3 content right there. And new episodes weekly is all the way over there on that side.
Weird.
Where are
Well,
we, Trip?
make sure you follow because we are going to be doing a Spider-Man ranking. That'll be our next video. So yeah, subscribe, pretty please. Go see Spider-Man. You probably will. And yeah, we love
See
you.
this guy.
Go see that guy.